Welcome back to another video, and in today's video, I'm going to be going through a list of 5 NBA players that I felt have been underwhelming to start this NBA season. Obviously, the NBA season has only been started for about 10 games, but we can still make a list of people that have been disappointing to start this NBA season. I got a list of about 5. Again, if you want to see a part 2, drop a like on the video. If this video does well, I will do a part 2. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So the first player that we are going to put on this list, and this goes in no particular order. These are just 5 players that I feel like so far in this season have disappointed me. So the first NBA player that I feel like has disappointed me is Trae Young. Trae Young is averaging 24.4 points per game, 35.7% from the field, which is a career low, with 29.4% field goal from 3. That's really, really bad. He does have 10.2 assists, which I believe is probably top 5 in the league, but 4.8 turnovers a game. The Atlanta's record is only 5-4 right now. He is horribly inefficient right now. Obviously, Trae Young, that was a problem for him last year, where he was just not shooting the ball well. He's obviously in Atlanta. He's going to get a lot of looks, but at the end of the day, he's not scoring enough as he should be for how much looks getting. Only 24.4 points per game. And we're talking about the Atlanta Hawks team. It's a very, very well-rounded team, and they're not playing bad being 5-4 without Trae Young being at its peak. Just Trae needs to get it together, because right now he's kind of falling out of like the top 15 range in the NBA right now, and with the amount of money that they're paying him, and you know, with the trade that happened with him going from the Mavericks to the Hawks, and the Hawks getting rid of Luka and going to the Mavs, it's looking like a win for the Mavericks and a loss for the Hawks, and that's going to deep down haunt them if Trae Young cannot get going. Trae has a lot of potential. Obviously, he's a smaller guard, so it's a little bit harder for him, but he's shifty, he's fast, he's quick. But so far this season, he's been horribly inconsistent, especially from 3, and right now, it's a big problem. He needs to step it up. So Trae Young is my first underwhelming player so far this season. The next player I'm going to be putting on this list is going to be Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, this player, he's been horrible. I mean, I'm a Warriors fan. This is coming from a Warriors fan. He has been atrocious. 10.5 points per game. 41.2% from the field. Now, granted, that is literally him just driving in and going for a dunk or for a layup. That doesn't really count. But he is 15.4% from 3. And I know that the season just started. I know we're only 10 games in, but that's enough of a game leverage to where he should not be 15% from 3. That is the 3rd worst 3-point percentage in the league right now, and he's the best out of those guys that have the lowest, except for, I guess, Scoot has the lowest, but Scoot's also just he's not fully developed. But he's also 50% from the free throw line, and where the Warriors, they are getting carried by Steph Curry. The Warriors currently are 6-5. And if the Warriors are going to need to be in that winning record and be in that playoff conversation, Andrew Wiggins is going to need to step up. And this goes with the multiple other players. Chris Paul is also the 5th worst in 3-point percentage in the league. Klay Thompson has not been at its peak yet. And it just makes you wonder about how this team's going to be able to perform in clutch situations. Because right now, Curry's averaging 40 points per game in the last 2 games. And yet they cannot win games because he's the only person actually playing good on the stupid field, except for maybe some bench news like Dario Saric or Jonathan Kuminga. But right now, Andrew Wiggins at 10 points per game, where last year he had 18 points per game. He's got to get that figured out. He's got to learn how to hit his corner threes. And it's no doubt that he has potential. He's got all the physical attributes. He just has not been able to make shots. Defense been a little bit weird too. And right now, he just cannot shoot the ball. So, Andrew Wiggins, you're my second player that's been underwhelming so far this season. My third player that I'm going to go with here is going to be Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is averaging 16.2 points per game, 41.2% from the field, with 30.3% from 3-point, which is, again, really scary, having 30% from 3. But also, his free throw percentage only 76.9% for a point guard. Last year, he had almost 90%. Wizards' record currently is 2-8 right now, which obviously you knew coming into the season that they were going to be a bad team. I mean, obviously they trade everybody, but Jordan Poole was meant to take that step forward because he is like the only player that he was meant to be the facilitator. He was meant to carry that team, and he is the same, if not worse, than last year where he wasn't even that good with the Warriors. 16.2 points per game on the amount of shots that he takes, and also he's like 5 turnovers a game. You have to wonder about Jordan Poole is, can he actually take that step forward and become a borderline all-star? Right now, he has not been taking that step because we thought going to the Wizards, he was going to get a bigger role. We thought that he could have been an all-star this year. I think a lot of people thought that going into the season. And right now, the Wizards are a bad team, which we did expect. But Jordan Poole is not getting better right now. He is basically just staying the same, if not getting worse. I mean, his shooting percentage has been worse, and he hasn't been as clutch. And I feel like for being the main piece in the team, last year he was 6-man. He should be scoring at least 20 points per game, if we're being honest here. And right now, he just has not taken that step. The Wizards are bad, and he is bad. Jordan Poole is my third underperforming player. My next player that I'm going to go with is going to be Julius Randle. Julius Randle is 18 points per game right now, which is horrible. Last season, he had 25 points per game. That is 7 less points than he had last year so far. He is 33.9% from field goal percentage. That is horrible. He has 25.8 3-point field goal percentage. That's also insanely bad. And obviously, he's not really a 3-point shooter. But last year, he had 25 points per game on good efficiency. The Knicks record currently is 5-5, and he's not being a big scorer that he was last year. I mean, obviously, him and Jalen worked so well together last year. They ended up being the 4 seed. They ended up being really, really good. They might have ended up being the 5 seed, actually. They were the 5 seed. But they were a really good team last year. They had a lot of potential, and it was the first year where they took that big step, and I feel like Julius Randle really just really, really evolved into an all-star. But right now, he is doing bad. I mean, 18 points per game. The Knicks are not doing good. He's also he's not that good of an all-around player if you're talking about in consideration. Like, he won't get too many assists. He won't get too many boards. He's really reliant on his scoring ability and his defense. Defense has not been great either. And right now, he's super inefficient. And again, most of these players have been. But Julius Randle, you thought could be a 25-point-per-game scorer again like he was last year. Obviously, last year was a breakout year for him. But you thought he could continue with some of that. And right now, he is not been the greatest second scoring option for them. Obviously, Jalen Brunson's going to be the first. But Jalen Brunson hasn't even been that good at that start of this year. And right now, the Knicks record is a little bit worrying, especially because they were a playoff team last year. Obviously, the East is a little bit less loaded than the West. But come on, Knicks. Come on, Julius Randle. You got to get it together. And the last person I'm going to have in this list for now, again, if you guys want to get a part 2, just like this video up and I will definitely do a part 2. But the last player I'm going to put on this list right now is Damian Lillard. There was so much hype with Damian Lillard going to the Bucks. Obviously, it was a big deal. This was like the change where, oh, the Bucks were going to be 100% like the contenders and 100% the champions. Because last year they were that, and then they ended up getting bounced in the first round. In a sweep, by the way. But then they go out and they get Damian Lillard, Dame and Giannis. And so far this year, it has not been working. Not even close. Giannis has been going off. Giannis has been super, super good. Very, very good. Efficient. And everything is going his way. But Dame so far is 22.8 points per game, which is the lowest in like 5 years. He is 37% field goal percentage. That's bad. He has 26.9 3-point field goal percentage, which is also horrendous, especially for being a deep-range scorer like everyone knows him. He's probably a top 5 shooter of all time, and definitely right now. And he was meant to have a huge year. Everyone thought, okay, this is the year where Giannis and Dame just carried the Bucks. But right now, Dame is not having as big of an impact, and it's some players like Giannis and like Brook Lopez that are having bigger impacts. The Bucks record currently is 6-4, and for a number one, the apparent best team in the league, 6-4 is just not that good. The Bucks definitely have a lot of worries right now. Dame is not playing to his expectations. There's a lot of stress going into the Bucks right now because we don't know exactly if Dame can continue to play at the level that he played in Portland. And right now, yes, he's getting up there in age, but he is not looking remotely close to what he looked like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's a worrying piece because the Bucks, again, they kind of need to be a high seed because you never know with the Bucks. They always have trouble in the playoffs. except for in 2021 when they obviously won. But last year they got swept by the Heat, and they were the 1 seed. Now, I'm not saying the Heat were a bad team or anything like that, but you cannot get swept by the Heat, even if Giannis doesn't play a couple of the games. It's definitely a worrying piece for the Bucks right now. Obviously, they're 6-4. They're still a playoffs team. They'll be fine. But Dame needs to get together if they want to be truly a contending team. Because right now, I think the Nuggets and Celtics have that up as the top 2 teams. Maybe even the Sixers right now. So yeah, Damian Lillard, you're my 5th most underwhelming player. And that's my video of the 5, just a list of 5 NBA players that have been disappointing so far this season. Obviously, there's so many players that could be doing better. If you guys want to see a part 2, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll come out with a part 2 as soon as possible, maybe next week. But I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. I hope you guys didn't take this too offensively, because all these players could bounce back. This is not me saying these players are bad. These are me just saying that these players have been disappointing so far this season. That's all I have. I hope you guys all enjoy this video. I hope you like it up, and I hope you turn on those post notifications and bell on. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!